Chapter 20 Conclusion and Summary. It has taken me several years to live through the experiences you have just read and almost as long to write them down. I will be forever grateful for each and every learning I have gone through. Though others may say I have paid quite a price, with it all I have realized one great lesson. God is love. That love is not shrouded in doctrines and pomp or ceremony, but is unconditional and never ending. The pomp and ceremony is there to help us see what God is not, if we will only look deeply and be honest with ourselves. If we can sincerely stop and look at life from this very moment, not using the past or the future as a gauge or where we think we should be, then are we able to step into God's time and feel the complete peace that God is. Here is the space where only joy and ecstasy exist, where the euphoria of existence goes beyond description. It is a place where the love of God is shed forth in unlimited abundance. God's love is not reserved for a selective few, such as the rich or poor, the bound or free, the righteous or the sinner. It simply comes with no strings attached to every being ever created. It is given to all, regardless of whether we recognize it or not. We are the ones that place the limitations on God's love. We are the ones who keep setting up the parameters that we think God has to live within. We are the ones that try to make God exclusively bound to our religion or our way of thinking. To define God is difficult because it encompasses so much, but this I can say, speaking from my own perspective, which I will always admit keeps growing and changing. My Father in heaven, the one that I have grown to know so well, is the creator of the individual known as Mike Rigby. Each of us is connected to our Creator or Heavenly Father by a natural unseen bond, which is stronger than any earthly power that exists. This is a bond of love which from your Father's side cannot be broken, nor does He ever see it as broken. It has always existed and it will continue to exist forever. Through my development with my Father, I have been taught that there are many individuals that have progressed to the point of being able to go home and there participate in the creation of spirit personalities or spirit offspring, as my Father did with me. Thus, there are many fathers, mothers in heaven, and not one that I feel more bonded to than the rest. Each of these beings acts on the same principles of love, or they cannot create as a father and mother does. At this point, we should try to take gender out of the picture because with all that I have seen, it does not exist on that level as we know it here. I have seen that the creation ability of my Father is directly tied to the amount of light and love which He generates. This light, like all light, pulses or vibrates, but at a frequency that is far faster or higher than we in the flesh comprehend. It is because of this extremely refined existence that they have the ability to do things that you and I think we cannot do. Whether that is the ultimate state and glory, joy, I am seeking, I cannot say, but I know within myself I still have work to do to achieve that level in its entirety. If there is something beyond that, then so much the better. In other words, even with all that I have learned and with all that I have experienced, I do not yet emanate the level of love that I have witnessed from my Father and from Jesus, although I am closer now than ever before. I do know that it is possible to do it in this life. Jesus did it. Many others have done it, and you and I are totally capable of doing the same. If I were to write volumes of books on spirituality and learning to know God and our higher self, there will never be anything I can tell you that will be more important than these 3 words. Seek this Jesus. He is the way you will find your Father in heaven. He is the one with the role of bringing you to a greater understanding of what this life is all about. Most of what you read about Jesus is tainted by the filter systems of the men that have tried to describe him. The problem is not that they are trying to deceive you, but that words will never describe an experience that can only be felt with your heart. Even my trying to describe him now will fall short, as all men do who have tried to explain something so all-encompassing. Much of what you read is only a small sampling of the truth that is available, and by the same token, much of what we have been taught as truth is not, or at least it is a low level of understanding of truth. During the course of my life's path, I have grown to love the Lord in a way that is difficult to explain. Perhaps His own words will do better. Become one with me as I am one with the Father. To know them is to be one with them. To understand what is truly important and what is superficial in life will give you a purpose and a life of fulfillment. You will learn from Jesus how to express divine, unconditional love under all conditions. And when you have developed that special intimacy with Him, He will reveal to you the personal struggles and weaknesses that He overcame while in the flesh. Then you will see Him as the true brother that He is, and you will see everyone else in exactly the same way. Only then will you understand why it is said that He learned, line upon line, precept upon precept. His struggle was the same as yours and mine, yet He was able to focus so well on the divine nature within that He overcame all things. My understanding and learning of Jesus progressed in several steps and evolved over a period of time. I have written these steps down only in hopes that you can gain from my experience a closeness to Him that will help you achieve the relationship with Him that will be fulfilling for you. Number 1. Was Jesus for real? I wanted to know if He really walked the world 2,000 years ago, or was He a myth? This question was a basic yes or no. Number 2. What was He like? I tried to find out all that I could about His personality. It was hard here to separate the fact from the fiction. When people want to see Him a certain way, they end up painting a picture of Him that is skewed in their favor. This I tried to avoid, but found that turning within was the only real way to get a true picture. Having said that, I am aware that the mosaic I have put together of Him to you is my interpretation, and I can only hope that you can see past my human frailties to the true intent. Number 3. I began to worship Him. This was the longest step and turned out to be the plateau I find most Christians still on. So much emphasis has been placed on the man and his perfectness, which of course no one else has, that moving beyond this is a bigger push than most people are willing to do. Number 4. Through worshiping Him and letting go of worship, I felt the peace that His Spirit brings. Although it was always there, it became more intense, and I learned to draw myself into it. By learning to see Him with the same struggles as you and I have, He taught me confidence that I could do the same. When you learn to take Him off the pedestal of perfection He has been placed on and see Him in the reality of respect He deserves, things will start to move. Number 5. I heard His voice. The moment that I passed that threshold, my life changed forever. At that point, I knew that I could never again trust or follow what others told me about Him, for I was now drinking from the source of the spring of life and not downstream where others had muddied the water. He expanded my understanding and my learning accelerated by 100-fold. Number 6. I felt His love. This is the same as His peace, only much more intense and unforgettable. Although there is nowhere we can go or be where God is not, when you feel His love, you will instinctively know He is nearby. Number 7. I felt His form. Here I placed my arms around Him and we hugged as two long-parted friends, for indeed we were. I wept as did He at the joy of being back together. Through His tender, gentle, and patient manner, my consciousness had been transformed where He would not withhold Himself from me. Number 8. I stood in His glory. You can only wonder at what His majesty is until you stand beside Him and feel the magnitude and power of His light. I have never felt any experience to compare with it. I doubt I will ever be able to explain it beyond what I have already said. Number 9. We walked together. He introduced me to my Father, and I learned that I was to continue to step out in faith and live a life to bring to pass the eternal progression of man by being an example as Jesus is an example. As a testimony to His divinity, I bear you my witness that He lives. I have met Him and walked with Him. I have felt His love and light penetrate through every cell of my body with a joy which can only be experienced. He does not seek your worship of Him, but your love of Him, a love of what he stands for, and a love of all mankind. If this history in some small way has helped you to feel the divine love which comes from God, then let that spark of light work within you until it permeates from you as from him. If this is what you want, it will take letting go of the traditions of your past. Lip service will not turn the key in the lock which opens the veil, only an honest setting aside of all that you thought was important, so that you can step into his space with a broken heart and a contrite spirit. At that point, one becomes teachable. Then he will lead and guide you to the divine sonship, fathership, and godhood, which is your eternal destiny. May you have the courage and inner fortitude to step out in faith and place your hand in the hand of him who overcame all things, is my hope and prayer for you, the reader of my history. MLR.